teams, so the juniors and the under 21s, and also there is an Asia Pacific Cup team. So these races are pretty important, and those who've got through to this final are going to be very happy indeed about it. In the race, in lane 1, we're going to have apologies for that. So back where we were, men's K1 500 metres, 21 and under. They'll be coming onto the start line now. In lane 1, Aidan Carberry representing West Lakes. In lane 2, Zico Vesely from New South Wales. In lane 3, Callum Elliott from Illawarra. In lane 4, Mitchell Tamblin from Bayswater. In lane 5, Lucas Raikuna from Sydney Northern Beaches. In lane 6, Sean Rice from Manly Warringah. In lane 7, Kynan Burke from Illawarra. In lane 8, Michael Dunbar from Manly Warringah. And in lane 9, Alex Woodhouse from Sunshine Coast.
off and racing. And our first final of this second session this morning, the 500 metre K1 for under 21s. See this go at the paddler. The first time I've made that mistake already this morning. The paddler there in lane 8 from Manly Warringah. Michael Dunbar was very quick in this morning's semi-final and off to a flying start. Paddlers just approaching the 300 metre mark, 200 metres left to go in this race. And it's the paddler in lane 6 as it stands. Sean Rice from Manly Warringah, who is currently leading at this stage of the race by some margin, and then pretty tight for the minor placings as they come into line. Paddlers in 3 and 4 from Illawarra and Bayswater, Callum Elliott, Mitchell Tamblin respectively, challenging for those minor placings, as is the New South Welshman Zico Veasley over in lane 2, who looks to be coming home with a wet sail. Our early race leader starting to come under some pressure now, but he'll do enough to hold on, be very close for the minor placings. Well, you're right, Lizzie, that Sean Rice and Manly Warringah clearly with the win there, but as for the minor medals, we'll have to wait on for that one. What a great race to kick off my paddle commentary career.
I was going to say an absolutely fantastic race, and we've made this comment earlier that how strong Australia is in paddling in this underage category. What a fantastic race to see all those guys coming across the line so close together. But Sean Rice, that little surge at the end there, taking out the win in the men's K1 500 metres 21 and under. And yeah, we'll need to wait for the officials to go through the video and come and tell us who got the silver and the bronze. But a great race there. Our next race, which is number 105 on our programme, is the semi-final of the men's 18 and under K1 500 metres. So the progression here is that the first 3 will go through to the A final, 4th, 5th and 6th will go through to the B final, 7th, 8th and 9th will go through to the C final. So semi-final number 1 has Julian Glue of Avoca in lane 1, Jacob Mako of Manly Warringah in lane 2, he's coached by Scott Dunbar, Willem Riddington of Sydney Northern Beaches in lane 3, Jerome Drobot of Avoca in lane 4, Byron Dykeman of Sunshine Coast in lane 5, Caelan Montgomery of Avoca in lane 6, Riley Heilbron of Wynnum Redlands in lane 7, Jesse Russell of Mercantile in lane 8, he's coached by Carl Russell, and Anderson Flick of Currumbin Creek in lane 9.
We're off in this first semi-final, race 105, the 8 men's under 18 K1 over 500 metres. At the moment, the athletes in the centre of the course getting the best of the opening exchanges in this event. Those in lanes 4 and 5, Mitchell Tamblin, or rather Jerome Drobot from Avoca and Byron Dykeman from Sunshine Coast. Look to have just got their bows in front. The early stages of this race, so as a reminder, top 3 in this event will head straight through to the A final, 4th, 5th and 6th to the B final, and 7th, 8th and 9th through to the C final. So we see our top two coming through. And it looks to be the athlete over in lane 3 from Sydney Northern Beaches, Willem Whittington, who's just currently sitting in that third place position with about 150 metres left to race. So that looks provisionally our top 3, but the athlete over on the far side of the course from Regatta, Julian Glue in the green boat, just trying to make inroads in the last 50 metres of the race course here. It looks like our top 3 will remain as it was with 200 metres to go. Manly Avoca's Caleb Montgomery trying to make inroads in the closing strokes, but not quite there. So that was across the line. Byron Diekman from Sunshine Coast, Jerome Drobot from Avoca, and Willem Whittington from Sydney Northern Beaches were our top 3 through to the A final.
Yeah, and then I had Caelan Montgomery in 4th, Julian Glue in 5th, and I suspect Jesse Russell of Mercantile in 6th, so they would be going through to the B final. And of course this is important because these guys are vying, many of them are vying for selection in the Australian team, so the selectors will be watching them and looking at those results, and they'll want to get into that A final if they can to give their best possible performance. Our next semi-final in the men's 18 and under K1 500, the second of 3 semi-finals.
Surely not.
Indeed. Connor Jacob from Canning River will be in lane 1. He's coached by Michael Booth. Walter Nichols of Sunshine Coast will be in lane 2. He's coached by Charlene Kelly. Tom Messenger of Queensland is in lane 3. Christian Ireland of Mackay in lane 4. Flynn Whelan from Holdfast Bay, South Australia, is in lane 5. He's coached by Luke Hannaford. Thomas Hall from Hunter Valley is in lane 6. Ryder Veering of Currumbin Creek is in lane 7. Lachlan Bean from Ascot, WA, is in lane 8. He's coached by Ramon Anderson. And in lane 9, Jack Whitford from Sunshine Coast, also coached by Charlene Kelly.
They are off in this second of 3 semi-finals. There's a little bit of a running joke amongst us rowing commentators that semi-finals should be 2, hence the word semi. But when you've got a 9-lane progression system, it does work out that 3 semi-finals is sometimes the best option here. So Aidan Hall from West Lakes there in the centre of the course. He won his heat this morning by clear water, 1.6 seconds the margin there. And Sculler 5th from the right-hand side of your picture, if you're joining us on the live stream, looking to have the ascendancy coming across that 300 metre mark. We'll get a slightly clearer picture in just a moment. Possibly the sculler to his right, and the scullers, rowers rather, paddlers to his left. That's what I was trying to get out there. Thomas Russell from Geelong looking best placed for second. And Mercantile's Charlie Cornwall in the black shell, looking to maintain that third place, but coming under threat in the closing strokes from Manly Warringah's mate Eels. It looks like those top 3 will likely remain as they were. But it'll be tight for the race for the B and the C final. With the Manly Warringah and Bayswater Scullers on the far side just staying in front. We're very, very close for that B and C final between Manly Warringah's Joel Newton and Manly Warringah's Archer Thornthwaite.
So certainly looked to me as though Flynn Whelan from Holdfast Bay took out the win there quite comfortably in the second semi-final of the men's 18 and under K1 500. Second looked to be Christian Ireland from Mackay, and third Tom Messenger from Queensland. Fourth Thomas Hall from Hunter Valley. I think fifth Lachlan Bean from Ascot, but who came sixth I'm not quite sure, so we'll wait for the official results to see who was the third person in the B final. On to our third and final semi-final in the men's 18 and under K1 500, and we have Joel Newton of Manly Warringah in lane 1. He's coached by Scott Dunbar. Zen Salisbury of Bayswater in lane 2. He's coached by Andrew Cruthers. Thomas Russell of Geelong in lane 3, coached by Sean McGee. Charlie Cornwell of Mercantile is in 4. Aidan Hall from Westlakes is in lane 5. Marte Eels of Manly Warringah is in lane 6, coached by Scott Dunbar. Archer Thornthwaite of Manly Warringah in lane 7. Finley Caruana from WA is in lane 8, and Blake Monaghan of Bayswater is in lane 9.
We're off in this third of 3 semi-finals, and my apologies for just getting the names mixed up between the last and this semi-final. But just a quick announcement as this race gets underway that the ID control has been relocated nearer to the pontoon and is not in the breezeway. But this third and final semi-final of the men's 18 and under 500 metre K1 underway now. It looks like the race for the win in the early stages between Thomas Russell from Geelong, Charlie Cornwell of Mercantile over in stations 3 and 4. Aidan Hall from Westlakes getting in on that action as well. We mentioned earlier, won his heat in a very convincing fashion this morning. Very much unchallenged in that race. And leading well with 200 metres left to go in this semi-final. Rowers from Geelong, paddlers from Geelong and Mercantile sitting in second and third. Marte Eels from Manly Warringah and Zen Salisbury from Bayswater sitting back in fourth and fifth. And a tight battle for that last B final position, unfolding between Joel Newton from Manly Warringah on the far side and Archer Thornthwaite from Manly Warringah. So even though I got the names wrong in the last race, I believe that still will be the battle for the B and the C final in this third semi. It is going to be Aidan Hall from Westlakes who will take the win. Charlie Cornwell from Mercantile and Geelong's Thomas Russell for third. Marte Eels, Archer Thornthwaite and Zen Salisbury for 4th, 5th and 6th. With John Newton, Finlay Caruana and Blake Monaghan for 7th, 8th and 9th in that third and final semi-final for the men's under 18 K1.
We're moving now to women's paddling, to the women's 16 and under K1, racing over 500 metres. These are semi-finals, 3 of them, with the first 3 to progress through to the A final, the next 3 to progress through to the B final. In the first of these 3 semi-finals, we have Isabella Wallace from Fairfield in lane 1. She's coached by Wen Tan. And Maya Murphy of Fairfield in lane 2. She's coached by Dewey and Ayani. In lane 3, Emma Collin from Cobram Baruga. In lane 4, another Fairfield paddler, Yushin Yang, coached by Wen Tan. In lane 5, Bronte Kipax of Avoca, coached by Jared Waite. In lane 6, Heidi Smith from Sunshine Coast, coached by Charlene Kelly. In lane 7, Layla Moody of Gold Coast. In lane 8, Hugh Wen Chan of Fairfield. And in lane 9, Sky Todd of Mackay, coached by Tony Ireland.
Now off racing in this first of 3 semi-finals in the women's under 16 K1. Saw the paddler in lane 8 from Fairfield, Hugh Wen Chen. Got a really good start there, just in the opening strokes, but as they build up the speed, it would be surprising if it was anyone but Bronte Kipax from Avoca in Central Station in lane 5. Won her heat by 6 seconds almost earlier on today. And looking very comfortable already. About the halfway point in this race, leading out the field. It is the paddlers either side of her. To her left, Yuxin Wang from Fairfield in the blue shell, who looks to be doing the best job of keeping with her. As well as Fairfield's Maya Murphy on the far side, who's looking to challenge to get into those top 3 qualifying positions. But Emma Corrin of Cobram Baruga there in the blue shell, rather, who is currently sitting in second and almost level with Sunshine Coast's Heidi Smith, but it is Bronte Kipax who is really striding out and showing a clean pair of heels to the rest of the field. As we said earlier, these young athletes looking at a chance for selection later on in the season. The selectors will certainly be loving seeing that, won't they, Lizzie?
Sure will. Very impressive. Bronte Kipax representing a strong club, Avoca, coming across the line first in that first semi-final of the women's 16 and under K1.
And we're a bit closer for second and third, but Heidi Smith from Sunshine Coast over Fairfield's Uxing Wang. Second and third, Maya Murphy from Fairfield in fourth. Fairfield's Hugh Wen Chan and Gold Coast Lila Moody. Following them across the line, rounding out the field will be Isabella Wallace from Fairfield and Mackay's Sky Todd.
Yeah, a nice strong finish there for our top three. Bonte Kipax of Avoca, Heidi Smith from the Sunshine Coast and Yushin Yang of Fairfield progressing through to the A final. Our second semi-finalists are now coming on to their start. In lane 1, Summer Rose Partridge of Sydney Northern Beaches. Chris, she has just started paddling. She's only been paddling a few months by the sound of things, so pretty impressive to be in the semi-final now. In lane 2, we have Camilla Barbie of Swan. In lane 3, Asta Micken from West Lakes, coached by David Smith. In lane 4, Jessie Yu of Fairfield, coached by Dewey Andani. In lane 5, Hayley Dunbar of Manly Warringah, coached by Scott Dunbar. In lane 6, Abby Osborne of Fairfield, coached by Wen Tan. In lane 7, Liv Manser from Avoca, coached by Angelika Siverbrandt. In lane 8, Mia Wall of Fairfield, coached by Wen Tan. And in lane 9, Julia Ralston of Manly Warringah.
So Hayley Dunbar from Manly Warringah in the centre of the course there would be probably the betting man's favourite in this race. 7.5 seconds was the margin in the heat back to her nearest competitor, so certainly a very strong paddler in the centre of the course here. But Fairfield's Jessie Yu seemingly just sticking with her in the opening exchanges of this race, as is Westlake's Asta Micken in the white shell. We'll see as they come through 300 how close that really is. Yeah, Asta Micken of Westlakes staying right with our race leader, Hayley Dunbar. Then back to Fairfield's Jessie Yu and Abby Osborne, also of Fairfield in the pink shell. Really in contention for that third qualifying spot through to the A final. Camilla Barbie from Swan. A little bit of no man's land over on the far side of the course. But the race on in earnest for the third qualifying spot to the final. Hayley Dunbar really kicking on the afterburners here and just starting to pull away from the rest of the field, as is Asta Micken from Westlakes in the white shell, who is still very, very tight for that last qualifying spot. And as I said, she was running a no man's land. Camilla Barbie of Swan getting herself back up into the mix, but I think it'll be too little too late. As Jessie Yu from Fairfield and her club mate as Abby Osborne really pulling out all the stops in the closing stages. It will be Abby Osborne from Fairfield who secures that last qualifying spot. Jessie Yu, Camilla Barbie, and Liv Manser from Avoca into the B final. Fairfield's Mia Wall, Manly Warringah's Julia Ralston, and Sydney Northern Beaches' Summer Rose Partridge will fill out the C final.
So congratulations to Hayley Dunbar, Manly Warringah, Asta Micken of West Lakes and Abby Osborne of Fairfield into the A final of the women's 16 and under K1 500, and Jessie Yu, Camilla Barbie and Liv Manser into the B final. Our next semi-final in this event is coming on to the start now, and we have Hannah Truscott of Wynnum Redlands in lane 1. Taylor Smith-Miller of Gold Coast in lane 2. She's coached by Peter Winton. Emma Jarvis of Bayswater in lane 3. Ellie Neervoort of Swan will be in lane 4. She's coached by Demi O'Brien. Ella Pegron, identical twin sister of Ashley, who's in the next lane. Both of them paddle at Avoca. They are in lanes 5 and 6. Chloe Harris of Manly Warringah in lane 7, coached by Taraya Mako. Blythe Osborne of Fairfield in lane 8, coached by Wen Tan, and in lane 9, Maya Jellica of Manly Warringah.
So semi-final 3 well and truly underway here in the women's under 16 500 metre K1. And we have two sisters in the centre of the course from Regatta, Ella and Ashley Pegram, who combined in the K2 to finish just outside the medals this time yesterday. Interestingly, we have seen all of the girls who beat them in the K2 already race in these semi-finals, and none of them present here, so I'm sure that'll bring them a little bit of confidence heading into this matchup. As Ellie Newvort from Swan just gains a little bit of ascendancy in the opening half of this race over Bayswater's Emma Jarvis, and the two Pegram sisters hot on their heels as well, with Ella in lane 5 just ahead, looks, or just behind now, of sister Ashley, who's currently sitting in second as they cross the 300 metre mark, but only just. It could be tight at the head of the field of this race as our top 3 paddlers come through the 300 metre mark, a length clear of their nearest competition. So it is still Ellie Newvort from Swan, and then just narrowly back to Ashley Pegram and sister Ella, less than half a length back out of that battle as well, as the sculler from Swan in lane 4 starts to stretch out in these closing strokes of the race. Bayswater's Emma Jarvis not looking to be left out of things at this stage, but possibly just a little bit too much ground to make up in the closing stages of this race. Ellie Newvort from Swan, and then the two sisters Ella, then Ashley Pegram. That'll be our top 3 to the final. Bayswater's Emma Jarvis progress to the B final, as will Hannah Truscott of Wynnum Redlands, and then the ringers Chloe Harris, and then Taylor Smith-Miller of the Gold Coast, Blythe Osborne of Fairfield, and Maya Jellica of Manly Warringah to complete the field.
Yeah, congratulations then to Ellie Newvort of Swan, Ella Pegram of Avoca and Ashley Pegram of Avoca for making the A final in our 16 and under K1 500. Moving to the B final, Emma Jarvis of Bayswater, Hannah Truscott of Wynnum Redlands and Chloe Harris of Manly Warringah. Our next race will be the men's 16 and under K2, racing over 500 metres. We have one semi-final to complete the final 3 places for the A final later. In lane 2 we'll have the K2 of Dane Raywood from Currumbin Creek with Hayden Lano of Wynnum Redlands. In lane 3, Ethan Yang of Fairfield in a composite with Callum Lincoln of Cobram Barooga. In lane 5, representing Manly Warringah, Zach Moffat and Dingy Zhang, coached by David Hitsley and Willem Mako. In lane 5, we've got Brodie Frew and Finley McLennan in a composite. In lane 6, from Hunter Valley, Taj Williams and Jasper Graham. In lane 7, from Sydney Northern Beaches, Dean Parsons and Lachlan Matthews. And in lane 8, from Manly Warringah, Charlie Wright and Harry Thornthwaite. Oh, there. And they've gone off pretty hard, Charlie Wright and Harry Thornthwaite.
Indeed they have, but the combination in the centre of the course there from Manly Warringah, Zach Moffat, Dingy Jang, has really shot out of the blocks and found some speed early on in this race. And I think they had a length almost in the first 50 metres there, Lizzie. That was an incredible start from the two Sydney siders. And then pretty tight back to third, fourth, fifth and sixth. Or second, third, fourth, fifth. With the Wynnum Redlands composite on the far side of Raywood and Lano, just trailing behind Hunter Valley's Taj Williams and Jasper Graham at this stage, but certainly all still to play for. Top three through to the A final, the rest eliminated from this event. And there's no doubt about our leading combination here in the under 16 K2. A very, very impressive race from the Northern Beaches composite. I believe I called that wrong earlier on in the race. My apologies, but that is Brody Frew and Finlay McLennan just cruising across the line. Be no contest for who makes the A final here. Second across the line will certainly be Hunter Valley's Taj Williams and Jasper Graham, followed by the combination on the far side of the course, Wynnum Redlands and Currumbin Creek, Hayden Lano and Dane Raywood.
Yep, so congratulations to Sydney Northern Beaches and Avoca composite of Brody Frew and Finlay McLennan, taking out the semi-final in the men's 16 and under K2 500 in fine style. Second across the line looked like Taj Williams and Jasper Graham of Hunter Valley, and third Raywood and Lano of Wynnum Redlands and Currumbin Creek. Looked to me as though fourth was Zach Moffat and Dingy Zhang of Manly Warringah, fifth Dean Parsons and Lachlan Matthews of Sydney Northern Beaches. And then that, I guess, is all academic because they are anyway eliminated from the event. But those first three through to the final later on. We're going to go down an age group and up a classification. We're going to go to men's 14 and under K4s, and they are going to race over 500 metres. Lane 4, Currumbin Creek. Lane 5, a composite from the Sydney Northern Beaches and Manly Warringah. Lane 6, Fairfield composite with Avoca. And Lane 7, Mackay with Indian Ocean Paddlers, West Lakes Paddle Sports and Onkaparinga.
Off and racing now in the under 14 K4. That's Mackay composite with Indian Ocean Paddlers and West Lakes. Really shooting out to an early race lead. So just they encounter a little bit of trouble there finding their rhythm, but back into the rhythm now as the chasing pack look to hunt them down. 4 crews, 4 combinations in this race, only one to miss out on the medals, so all to play for.
We've got, we're obviously looking at 14-year-olds and under, and there'll be quite a few 12-year-olds, given that that's a really strong event in paddle. The crew that looks a bit like a caterpillar coming down the course, but certainly give them full marks for effort, is the Mackay Composite from South Australia. In that crew we've got Alexander Lyons, Jason Ness, Hugo Marsden and Caden Lee. They are in the lane closest to the camera and closest to you if you are in the grandstand. Then it's across to the Fairfield Composite. That's Leo Manser from Avoca with Kai Sinclair from Avoca, Tyson Busink from Fairfield and Hugo Deng from Fairfield. In the middle we've got the Sydney Northern Beaches Composite that's coached by Christine Duff, David Hipsley and Peter Grimes of Hugo Dooney, Cameron Briggs, Ben Applewhite and Behdad Samandarian. And on the far side, killing it, Killian Quigley, Caden Scott, Cor Brody and Joel Moritz, coached by Chris Hurley and representing Currumbin Creek.
Yeah, so they got out to a fast start, this Mackay Composite. They're just faltering in the middle. I thought they were going to come under threat, but seeming to just recover in the closing stages of this race and really working their way away from the rest of the field now. Just over a boat length, they'll take the gold medal in the under-14 K4. It will be, as it's been the whole way down the course, the only single club crew in this race from Currumbin Creek for the silver. The bronze will go to the Fairfield Composite, and the Sydney Northern Beaches Composite with Warringah will miss out on the medals here in the under-14 K4 over 500 metres.
And Chris, this is where we see the age groups that would just be starting rowing. Some of these guys have really got some paid, just in rowing we started much later age, a more complex sport, but so great to see so many young kids out having such a great time. It's a really strong part of paddling, the family atmosphere and the great fun time that they have in those K4s. So we're going to stay with the 14 and under age group, but we're going to move now back to the K1, racing over 500, the women's 14 and under. It's a direct final, and in lane 2 we'll have Serena Lee from Fairfield. In lane 3, Evla Basak from Fairfield. In lane 4, Catherine Shen from Fairfield, and they are all coached by Wen Tan. In lane 5, Pippa Smith from Manly Warringah, coached by David Hipsley. In lane 6, Ailey Rowe from Hunter Valley, coached by Adam Rowe. In lane 7, from Mackay, Isabel Ireland. And in lane 8, from Westlake, South Australia, Audrey Mackay.
Women's under 14 K1, another direct final underway in front of us. Actually looks to be those on the near side of the course who have gotten the best things out at the start. Isabel Island from Mackay and Eiley Rowe from Hunter Valley there in stations 7 and 6. Looking good in the early stages of this race, as does the leading of three Fairfield Scullers. We've got three Fairfield Scullers in this race. Serena Lee on the far side, Evla Basak in lane 3, and Catherine Shen in lane 4. And those three Scullers doing very well to stick with the rest of this race. But it is still looking like Mackay's Isabel Island, who is going to come through the 300 with the ascendancy at this point in the race. And I'd say Serena Lee on the far side, looking best placed for a silver medal at this stage. Catherine Shen from Fairfield as well, looking best placed to put two Fairfield paddlers on the podium. And very tight for fourth outside the medals between Evla Basak, Audrey Mackay from West Lancs on this side, and Pippa Smith from Manly Warringah in lane 5. It is certainly going to be, we never want to say going to be, do we, Lizzie, but it is certainly looking most likely to be Isabel Island from Mackay. Here on the grandstand side of the course in station 7, who has found her way into a clear water lead now over the rest of the field. Things starting to tighten up for the last spot on the podium, but I don't see anything changing this stage of the race. It will be Isabel Island for the gold medal in the national championship in the under 14 K1 over 500. Over on the far side, Serena Lee from Fairfield. She'll take the silver. Clubmate Catherine Shen will take the bronze. Evla Basak for fourth. Westlake's Audrey Mackay in fifth. Hunter Valley's Ailey Rowe in 6th, and Manly Warringah's Pippa Smith in 7th place.
And I certainly think that the prize for the best supporters goes to Fairfield for all of the shouting going on from the grandstand. Good work there, girls. Isabel Ireland from Mackay taking out the win in the women's 14 and under K1, but the silver and the bronze going to Fairfield. Serena Lee with silver and Catherine Shen is going to take the bronze. Fourth was Evla Basak of Fairfield, 5th Audrey Mackay of Westlake, 6th Ailey Rowe of Hunter Valley, and 7th Pippa Smith of Manly Warringah. Our next race is the men's 12 and under K1 500, again a straight final. In lane 3 from Culloden Creek, Caden Scott. In lane 4 from Avoca, Kai Sinclair. In lane 5 from Cobram Baruga, Jack Collin. In lane 6 from Culloden Creek, Nixon Wallace, coached by Kenny Wallace. And in lane 7 from Avoca, Leon Manser, coached by Angelica Silverbrandt. So Chris Kenny Wallace, I believe still the head coach of Pathways for Paddle Australia, and a fine, very experienced and multi-medalled international paddler himself.
Yep, so I should be looking to Station 6's Nixon Wallace potentially to be in the mix for the medals in this event. Off the racing now in 12 and under K1 over 500 metres. Kai Sinclair from Avoca getting out well in the opening strokes, as is Nixon Wallace of Currumbin Creek. Just a little bit of wind on the course now in the first couple hundred metres. Hasn't quite made its way down to the finish tower, but certainly a nice little tail breeze in the first half of the race as these paddlers start to approach the flatter water of the second half of the race, and things will just be starting to feel a bit heavy now. But Kai Sinclair from Regatta maybe be a little bit buoyed by the fact that he is clearly in the lead of this race, this final, in the men's 12 and under K1. It is on for young and old for the minor medals though. We've got the three paddlers on the near side of the course. Leo Manser from Regatta, Nixon Wallace from Currumbin Creek, and Cobram Baruga's Jack Corrin battling it out for second, third and fourth. Maybe just spreading out a little bit more now as they enter the final 200 metres of the race. Jack Corrin from Cobram Baruga just starting to drop off out of that race for the podium. Nixon Wallace of Currumbin Creek still knocking on the door of Leo Manser from Regatta. But I don't see, there's a little bit, maybe 2 lengths there between our second and third placed paddlers. Kai Sinclair from Regatta. You can see the strain now in the closing stages of this race, but I think he's done enough early on and will hang on to take the gold medal in the men's 12 and under K1 500. Final few metres across the line will be Kai Sinclair from Regatta. Take gold. Silver will go the way of his clubmate from Regatta, Leo Manser. And Currumbin Creek's Nixon Wallace will round out the podium with a bronze medal. Jack Corrin from Cobram Baruga in Station 5 will have to settle for fourth, and fifth will go the way of Currumbin Creek's Caden Scott.
Excellent work from all of those guys. And we have a break now until 11:30 when we'll restart racing with the first heat of the men's Open K2 500, and you won't want to miss this because we have our Olympians, our gold medalists from Tokyo and bronze medalists from Paris rather, and gold medalists from Tokyo, Pierre van der Westhuizen and Tom Green. We've got a bit of a mix-up there, so we've got Pierre with Tom this time round, so somebody from the K2 and someone from the K4 racing in lane 5, and a whole host of talent who have represented Australia at different age group levels around them at 11:30 in the heats of the men's Open K2 500. We will, in the meantime, have some more presentations, and we'll bring those to you shortly if you want to come and down to the grandstand to applaud those getting medals. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have an awards ceremony now, or several awards ceremonies, for some of the races from earlier on today. We will start off with the awards ceremony for the women's K1 500 metres 21 and under. The medals will be presented by Yale Stein Price, 2024 Paris Olympian. Second and silver medalist representing Queensland, Emerson Hardy. And sorry, our bronze medalist, Jen Stanley from Bayswater Paddle Sports. And our gold medalist and national champion for 2025, representing Bayswater, Samantha Lurie. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our national champion and our medalists in the women's K1 500 metres 21 and under. Our next presentation will be for the men's K1 500 metres 21 and under. The presentation of medals for the men's K1 500 metres 21 and under. The medals will be presented by Yale Stein Price, Olympian from Paris 2024. Third and bronze medalist representing Bayswater Paddle Sports Club, Mitchell Tamblin. Second and silver medalist representing Sydney Northern Beaches Kayak Club, Lucas Raikkonen. Lucas is coached by Jake Michael. Gold medalist and national champion for 2025 representing Manly Warringah Kayak Club, Sean Rice. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate all our medalists in the men's K1 500 metres 21 and under. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of medals for the women's 14 and under K1 500. Third place and bronze medalist representing Fairfield Canoe Club, Catherine Shen. Catherine is coached by Wen Tan. Second and silver medalist, also representing Fairfield Canoe Club, Serena Lee. Serena is coached by Wen Tan. Gold medalist and national champion for 2025, representing the Mackay Paddlers Society, Isabel Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate all our medalists in the women's 14 and under K1 500. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of medals for the women's 14 and under K4 500. Second and silver medalists, the Manly Warringah Composite, Ailey Rowe from Hunter Valley Paddle Sport, Daphne Bradley from Goldfields Paddlers, Zoe Caldwell from Illawarra Canoe, and Pippa Smith from Manly Warringah Kayak Club. Gold medalists and national champions for 2025. The Mackay Paddlers Fairfield Canoe Club Composite, Catherine Shen from Fairfield, Evla Basak from Fairfield, Serena Lee from Fairfield, and Isabel Ireland from Mackay Paddlers. Please congratulate all our medalists in the women's 14 and under K4 500. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now have the presentation of medals for the men's 14 and under K2 500. And again, the medals will be presented by Yale Stein Price, Olympian from Paris 2024. Third place and bronze medalists representing the Manly Warringah Kayak Club, Cameron Briggs and Hugo Dooney. The crew is coached by Tariah Mako and David Hipsley. Second place and silver medalists, the Currambin Creek Paddlers Club, Joel Moritz and Koa Brody. The crew is coached by Chris Hurley. Gold medalists and national champions for 2025, representing Mackay and Swan Canoe Clubs, Hugo Marsden and Caden Lee. The crew is coached by Denny O'Brien and Tony Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate all our medalists in the men's 14 and under K2 500. Our next presentation will be for the men's 14 and under K4 500. The presentation of medals for the men's 14 and under K4 500. In third place, and bronze medalists representing Avoca and Fairfield, Leo Manser from Avoca, Kai Sinclair from Avoca, Tyson Busink from Fairfield, and Hugo Deng from Fairfield. Second place and silver medalists representing Currumbin Creek, Gillian Quigley, Caden Scott, Koa Brody and Joel Moritz. Gold medalists and national champions for 2025, the South Australian Composite, Alexander Lines from Onkaparinga, Jason Ness from West Lakes, Hugo Marsden from Indian Ocean, and Caden Lee from Mackay. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate all our medalists in the men's 14 and under K4 500. Ladies and gentlemen, next we will have the presentation of medals for the men's 12 and under K1 500. And again, the medals will be presented by Olympian Yale Steinprice. Third place and bronze medalist representing Currumbin Creek Paddlers Club, Nixon Wallace. Nixon is coached by Kenny Wallace. Second and silver medalist representing Avoca Kayak Club, Leo Manser. Leo is coached by Angelica Silverbrandt. And our gold medalist and national champion for 2025, representing Avoca Kayak Club, Kai Sinclair. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate all our medalists in the men's 12 and under K1 500. And we'll begin our next session of racing with race number 115 on our programme. 2 heats of the men's Open K2 500, and we've got some pretty speedy looking combinations in this race. In lane 2 we have Chris Burns from Fairfield Canoe Club with James Murray from INCC Yarra Paddlers. In lane 3 from Bayswater, Mitchell Tamblin and Sam Mayers, coached by Ramon Anderson. In lane 4, a composite of Zico Vesely from New South Wales and Callum Elliott from Illawarra. In lane 5, from Queensland, Tom Green and Pierre van der Westhuizen. A very interesting combination. Scott's back with us in the commentary box. Scott, I'm very interested to see Tom Green from the Olympic K2 with Pierre van der Westhuizen from the K4, and in our next heat we've got a similar thing. We've got Jean van der Westhuizen from the K2 with Jackson Collins from the K4. So looks like they're having some fun out there.
A little bit of a mix-up.
Yeah.
Just going to see who's going to get the bragging rights.
That's right. In lane 6 we have another interesting combination. The under 23s from 2024, Harrison Torrens and Bailey Clues, coached by Jake Michael from the Institute of Sport. In lane 7, Aidan Han from Fairfield with Sean Rice from Manly Warringah, who we just saw take out the K1. And in lane 8 from the Sydney Northern Beaches, Liam Fell, and he's paddling with Maynard Gray from Swan Canoe Club.
So Tom and Pierre, yeah, the boys are mixing it up just to see what happens. I'm interested in this as well. And we have a false start. The senior men, if you're going to put some money on who's going to false start, you're going to call the senior men, in my opinion.
I was just saying to our co-commentator Chris that when I watch men's K2s in particular, but K1s also, they look to me like sharks behind the start line. They're just circling round and round. It's like they're sizing each other up, and then they get into the boot. They're ready to go. I can just imagine the adrenaline and testosterone that's in the air there behind the start line.
And yeah, I think that's a really good comment. That's what Aussie paddlers are noted for. They are killers on the water.
Yeah.
They're gentlemen off the water.
Yep.
And guys and girls, they're all super approachable. They're all fantastic bunch, and you're happy to chat with anyone and talk to you. But once they're on the water, they get white line fever.
They mean business, yeah.
They are.
Yeah, white line
they're
fever.
superstars, and they're killers, and
Yeah.
they do not give up. And
No.
and I think that's the Australian way.
I do too, and I think it's a great, it's great that you can have the ability to have that level of contrast to, when it's on, and when it's off, it's really off. You have fun.
Yeah, you do, and they know how to have fun.
Yeah.
Another part of the Aussie way.
Yes.
Yeah, you can relax and chill out a little bit, have some fun, become a team, work as a team, and that comes from leadership.
Yeah, 100%. It does. You're absolutely right. Yeah, and I think great. We were talking about this earlier, but great role modelling for all these youngsters we've got down here, 12 years and under, all the way up to the under 23s that are seeing how you do it.
If you're a parent of some of these youngsters, you look at the Olympians, and no doubt you're saying, I want my kids to be like
that. Yeah.
You may not make the Olympics, but it's certainly someone to be like. And
100%, and you can certainly have an Olympian's attitude towards what you do in life. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
My wife wishes I had an Olympian's attitude towards mowing the lawns. So there's a couple in the boots already. Starters giving them a hurry up to get going. Second start's a clean start. Pierre and Tom looks like they have the power out of the blocks. Interesting, Tom's still in the back seat, Pierre taking that front seat, taking his brother's spot. So let's see what sort of time they can do. It's good conditions for them, so expect some good times. And they're all rating pretty high, so they're all working for it. Interestingly here, over in lane 7, Aidan Han and Sean Rice, they have started well and are matching it with Tom and Pierre. They're going to push them through to the 200 mark. The other pair of Torrens and Clues also working not quite nicely. So the Enswith crews, the Sydney Northern Beaches, Manly Warringah crews, not letting Tom and Pierre get it their own way.
So good to see. A great squad there down at Narrabeen with Jake Michael.
But Tom and Pierre,
classy.
yeah, they're a boat length in front. Look very much in control. Nicely set up by Pierre, and they've switched off. They're just easing down to the line. Maybe an early switch off. The other crews are starting to come through on them. It's going to be close for second between three groups. So
Yeah,
on
and
the
that fifth
outside,
person needs to keep going as well, don't they? Because the fastest fifth will get through to the final.
yeah, Vesely and Elliott for second. Over this side for Han and Rice in third, and then back over the other side to Tamblin and Myers. I think that fifth place is going to go to Burns and Murray, with the Sydney Northern Beaches composite of Gray and Fell coming through in seventh spot.
And coming on to the start now, our second heat of the Men's Open K2 500. And again, just a reminder, the first 4 will go through to the final. And one more crew will go through, the fastest of the 5th placed crews. So the times are important.
So we've got the double J's in lane 1.
We have Jean van der Westhuizen and Jackson Collins representing Queensland, and they are in lane 2. In lane 3, Rias Diaz from Manly Warringah and Charles Heaton Armstrong from Sydney Northern Beaches. In lane 4, a composite of Aidan Carberry from, pretty sure he's from last year's junior team, so that's impressive to see him in the Men's Open, with Max Humphries. In lane, they are from South Australia and they're coached by the head coach there, Luke Hannaford. In lane 5, the Onkaparinga Canoe Club paddler Maguire Reid with Canning River's Luke Egger. They are both under 20, from the under-23 team last year. In lane 6, from New South Wales, Alex Woodhouse and Jake Morris. Actually, that's not quite true. Alex Woodhouse is from Sunshine Coast. And in lane 7, Gabriel Cornwell from Mercantile is doubling up with Thomas Ladson from Fairfield.
So we've got 2 Olympians in this team, brand new pairing, but they're experienced Olympians, both getting a silver medal at Paris Olympics. Coming up against a number of young crews who are fast and improving every race. So the boys are going to have to keep the pressure on. There's no easy win here for them. Be interesting to see if they go for the win or they're happy just to get through in the top 4 and just work on their race plan. They're away in racing. As expected, Egger and Reid matching it with Van der Westhausen and Collins in the first 50 metres. Speedster Luke Egger and performed exceptionally well in the 500, getting a 3rd in the Open 500. Very, very impressive. So let's see if those 2 crews are the ones to watch But Carberry and Humphreys won't be any slouches, nor will Woodhouse and Morris, both performing well at this weekend. But over on the far side, you can see Van der Westhausen and Collins taking a boat length lead over the composite team of Egger and Reed. Egger and Reed in second, boat length behind Van der Westhausen and Collins. Third for mine is Woodhouse and Morris. I expected that. Just on their outside is Cornwell and Ladson. It's going to be very tight for third and fourth spot. But John and Jacko looking very tidy. They've turned off now. They're just cruising to the line. It looks like Egger and Reed have also turned off. So the front runners are turning off and just conserving for the next round. But they're all fighting for that third and fourth spot. And it looks to me like it's lane 6, Woodhouse and Morris, just over Carberry and Humphreys for the top 4.
I would agree with that. So impressive, isn't it? Westhuizen and Van der Westhuizen and Collins over there on the far side, the power that they generate, and then just coasting with the boat still running fast because they know how to just tap it along. Beautiful to watch, and a fine example there of how training over a long period of time builds up that power, that strength, that technical skill that allows the boat to run so freely. Yeah. So stick at it, kids, stick at it.
You would. You'd hardly know they were Olympic silver medalists, would you? And I do wonder, what was it like at their first ever regatta?
Yeah.
I wonder, were they the 9th over the line, or were they a superstar from the get-go?
Yeah, yeah. Probably not. Most people aren't superstars right from the get-go, are they? It's just they do the first few regattas and then they get the bit between their teeth and they go, I wanna be good at this.
Hard work beats talent who won't hard work every day of the week.
Yeah,
So,
100%. And
yeah.
my favourite phrase, which is the only place that success comes before work, is in the dictionary. So get on with it. Yeah. Well, we have another race now. It is the B final of the men's 18 and under K1. Still racing over 500 metres. We have Walton Nichols from Sunshine Coast in lane 1, coached by Charlene Kelly. Jesse Russell of Mercantile in lane 2, coached by Carl Russell. Lachlan Bean of Ascot in lane 3, coached by Ramon Anderson. Marte Eels of Manly Warringah in lane 4, coached by Scott Dunbar. Caelan Montgomery of Avoca in lane 5. Thomas Hall of Hunter Valley in lane 6. Julian Glue of Avoca in lane 7. Archer Thornthwaite of Manly Warringah in lane 8. And in lane 9, Zen Salisbury from Bayswater, who's coached by Andrew Cruthers. You know, you see the strength and depth of paddling when you read out a list like that, and that's the B final.
Yeah, there'll be a couple of surprises in this B final. There'll be some lads here who expected they would be in the A final, or at least hoped they would be in the A final.
So the selectors will still be looking at this and looking at their time, so they've got nothing to lose by going
to
for
a
it.
point they will be, but it's not. They're not selected on times. They're selected on places, and then times
right.
will come into that
Yeah.
to make sure that they're
Right.
they're around the right speed. But
Yeah.
there'll still be some paddlers here in this B final in contention for teams.
That's good to know.
And the lads are off and away. Marte Els has had a good start. Marte would have hoped to be in that A final, but he's a bottom age under 18. But he has started very nicely over there in lane 4. Not to be outdone by Zen Salisbury. We know he's a speedster here in lane 9, also looking very good. job by Tommy Hall. I think he's leading it out at the moment. Lane 6. He's strong. He's going to get out quick. There's no doubt he can get out quick. It's whether he can hold it through to the end. And it looks like Zen Salisbury on this outside lane has got them at the moment. I'm liking the looks of Zen. He's got a boat length on everyone. Good work, Zen. Keep it up. Keep going. And it's a line for that second spot. Tommy Hall, Marte Els, Jesse Russell and Walter Nichols all in contention for second. It's going to be close. They're all working hard. Caelan Montgomery from Avoca coming through in the middle, but on his outside, Marte Els, he started well, he's held it well, being challenged by Zen Salisbury from Bayswater. It's Salisbury from Bayswater, just edging out Els from Manly Warringah. Is Els going to come over the top? Salisbury for me, Els in 2, and Montgomery, I think, has snatched the third spot. Boys are spent, all having a rest, all congratulating each other. Well deserved and well raced by everyone.
So our next race is the A final of this event, the men's 18 and under K1, racing over 500 metres. And in lane 1 we have Tom Messenger from Queensland. In lane 2, Charlie Cornwell from Mercantile. In lane 3, Jerome Drobot from Avoca. In lane 4, Flynn Whelan from Holdfast Bay. In lane 5, Byron Dykeman from Sunshine Coast. In lane 6, Aidan Hall from West Lakes. In lane 7, Christian Ireland from Mackay. In lane 8, Willem Riddington from Sydney Northern Beaches. And in lane 9, Thomas Russell from Geelong.
Good clean start from the men's 18 and under K1 500. I've been waiting for this one all day. Quality field, and they're all racing for some fantastic opportunities to travel overseas with either the junior Australian team or the Asia Pacific team to Japan. So you want to make sure you finish up as high as possible. Be up to the selectors on who they pick, how many they take. They can take up to 6 to Junior Worlds. Let's see if they do that. May not happen, but you certainly want to be up there. And from what I can see, it very much looks like Flynn Whelan, who had a great GP2, is looking very strong. He's being challenged on his inside by Dykeman. Dykeman, as you said, Lizzie took a junior team last year as a bottom age, so looking very strong, but half a boat length right now to Whelan. Half a boat length to Whelan. Slightly back then to Dykeman, and then just on his inside I'd go Drobot. So it looks like Whelan and then Dykeman and Drobot, the top 3 for the moment. As they come down to the finish line, Drobot is finishing fast. He's lifted the rating, looking super strong. I'm going to give this one to Drobot. 100 metres out, he is looking super strong. I like what he's doing. He's hurting a little bit now. He's tightening it up. Here comes Dykeman over the top. Dykeman is coming at him hard. Is Dykeman going to get him? I don't think so. I'm going to give it to Drobot and then Dykeman and Flynn Whelan. Very good racing, lads. Very, very, very tight. Look forward to seeing the times on that one.
I don't know, could you tell who got the bronze medal? It looks so close for me between Whelan and Hall.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've made the call. Well, that's why it's
So you're hoping that the coach doesn't disagree with you when...
yeah, well, I'm
Or
not,
the official, I
I'm
should
not
say.
the official who's making the call, just an opinion from the caller's box.
But yeah, fantastic racing, so congratulations to all of those guys, but certainly looked like Jerome Drobot just over the top of Byron Diekman, or was it the other way around? We'll have to wait and see. And we will move on to our next race, which is the women's K2 500 in the 18 and under category, race number 119 on our programme. In lane 1, we have Lily Burgess and Alicia Burrows from Westlakes Paddle Sport and Onka Paringa, so from South Australia. In lane 2, from Bayswater, Taya Cassidy and Adelaide Hilton, coached by Andrew Crothers. In lane 3, from Mackay, Eden Sakura and Harper Lovett. In lane 4, we've got Zoe Moore from Bayswater, paired up with Olivia Clues from Sydney Northern Beaches. In lane 5, Manly Warringa's Tess Lever and Albie McInnes, coached by Scott Dunbar. In lane 6 from Bayswater, Stella Dark and Claudia Ketteringham. In lane 7, a composite of Amelie Dooney from Sydney Northern Beaches and Emily Rose from Avoca. And in lane 8, Lily Todd from Mackay with Olivia Marr from Fairfield, coached by Tony Ireland and Wen Tan.
Moore and Clues for me at the moment, looking quite strong, but being challenged by the Bayswater pair of Dark and Ketteringham, paddling together quite often over there in WA, so you think they'll work well as a team, as opposed to a new pairing of Moore and Clues being brought together. Moore's got some speed and Clues got the power. She dominated that women's under 18 K1 500. So I expect them to perform well, but this Bayswater pairing also looks really good. And they're coming down to the final 100 metres. Clues has set this boat up very nicely, looking good, running it well, and they're starting to paddle away from the rest of the field. So it's Moore and Clues in one. On their left, it looks like the Bayswater pair of Cassidy and Hilton are coming through for second. They're challenging the other Bayswater pair of Dark and Ketteringham. So second spot, Cassidy and Hilton over the other Bayswater pair of Dark and Ketteringham for the top 3 places. Gold, silver and bronze for the women's 18 and under K2 500.
So the straight final of the women's 18 and under K2 500, a win there for the composite of Zoe Moore from Bayswater with Olivia Clues from Sydney Northern Beaches, coached by Ramon Anderson. Looks as though a silver medal and a bronze medal to Bayswater with Taya Cassidy and Adelaide Hilton just taking out Stella Dark and Claudia Ketteringham. But an honours to Manly Warringa's Tess Lever and Albie McInnes coming in 4th, and Amelie Dooney from Sydney Northern Beaches and Emily Rose from Avoca coming in 5th. 6th was the Westlakes composite of Burgess and Burrows. 7th looked like Mackay's Sakura and Lovett, and 8th Todd and Marr from Fairfield and Mackay. We have a B final now in the women's 16 and under K1, racing over 500 metres. So those paddlers just getting onto the start now are Liv Manser from Avoca in lane 1, Emma Corrin from Cobram Baruga in lane 2, Camilla Barbie of Swan in lane 3, Emma Jarvis from Bayswater in lane 4, Maya Murphy of Fairfield in lane 5, Jessie Yu of Fairfield in lane 6, Hugh Wen Chan of Fairfield in lane 7, Hannah Truscott of Wynnum Redlands in lane 8, and closest to the camera, Chloe Harris from Manly Warringah in lane 9. And they're off and racing, and it looks like a good clean start there for Chloe Harris of Manly Warringah in the lane closest to the camera, and across on the other side for Liv Manser of Avoca. Liv is coached by Angelica Silverbrandt, and Chloe is coached by Taria Mako. And we're getting into the body of the race now, and a little push there from Camilla Barbie of Swan in this B final, pushing up now hard against Maya Murphy of Fairfield in the red boat. All of those Fairfield paddlers battling it out between each other, with Maya Murphy of Fairfield in 5, Jessie Yu of Fairfield in 6, and Hugh Wen Chan of Fairfield in 7. So the girls in the middle of the course. Hugh Wen Chan having a good tussle with Hannah Truscott. Jessie Yu and Hugh Wen Chan looking strong there in the middle of the course. Liv Manser out there on her own in lane 1. Using the side of the course as a horizon on which to judge her speed, pushing hard, but now making ground on her, Camilla Barbie of Swan, who's in lane 3. And Camilla Barbie really pushing on now in this last 100 metres of the race, just coming up there with the red boys. Yep, Camilla Barbie, she seems to have her nose in front there. And she can sense that she can see that finish line. She's pushing strongly now. Still has Maya Murphy of Fairfield clinging on to her, but she's pushing away. She's got a boat length lead now. Camilla Barbie of Swan, disappointed not to be in the A final, but she's going to make good by taking out the B final by clear water. Very hard to tell, but we think some between Emma Jarvis of Bayswater and Hugh Wen Chan for that second and third place in our B final of the women's 16 and under K1 500. What an exciting race. We move on to the start of the women's 16 and under K1 500 A final. Abby Osborne of Fairfield will be in lane 1. She's coached by Wen Tan. Ella Pegram of Avoca will be in lane 2. She's coached by Jared Waite. Heidi Smith from the Sunshine Coast will be in lane 3. She's coached by Charlene Kelly. Hayley Dunbar of Manly Warringah in lane 4, coached by Scott Dunbar. And Bronte Kipax of Avoca in lane 5, coached by Jared Waite. Ellie Neervoort of Swan is in lane 6, coached by Demi O'Brien. Asta Micken of Westlakes in lane 7, coached by David Smith. Yushin Yang of Fairfield in lane 8, coached by Wen Tan. And coming on to the start of lane 9, representing Avoca, Ashley Pegram. What a lineup.
Yeah, another good solid lineup. Good to see the Pegram twins both making the A final. There won't be any fights between those two now. They'll both made an A final and both deserve to be there. Have showed quality over the last couple of seasons. So interested to see how they go. But for me, it's going to be between Kipax and Dunbar. Kipax and Dunbar have been performing exceptionally well all weekend. Yeah, Ash Pegram out of the blocks a little bit slow. Not unusual for her. She'll come through through as the race builds. So it's not a bad thing. But in the middle of the field, Kipax looking very good. Kipax, I'd say, just has the edge over Dunbar in that first 100 metres. We'll get a little bit of a better view as they come through to the 200 metre mark, but that black boat of Kipax looks good. I think she's got a boat length to Kipax over Dunbar, and they're being matched by Nearvort in that second spot. So there's a fight for second between Dunbar and Nearvort, but a boat length to Kipax. Bronte Kipax, all the way from Foster, come on down, country girl, showing the city kids how to do it, looking very, very strong. Kipax in one, got a couple of boat lengths now. Are they going to come back at her? Hayley Dunbar's tough. I've seen her race plenty of times. She is experienced and she is tough. So she'll push her all the way to the end, but it looks like Kipax for me. Kipax looking very good, slowing down a little bit. It's hurting, she's worked hard for it, but a good 2 to 3 boat lengths to Kipax over Dunbar, and we've got a fight in 3 now. The far side, Abby Osborne from Fairfield flying home on the outside lane, and here in lane 7, Asta Micken. It looks like Dunbar's going to maybe get edged out. I'm going to give that to Micken coming over the top of Dunbar, and maybe lane 6 from Swan, Ellie Nearvort. But for me, very, very close racing. Not sure who you saw there, Lizzie. It was a tough one.
It was indeed, yeah, I agree. Kipax looked so impressive, and Aston Micken, I think, snatched the silver. And then, to me, it would be a photo finish between Ellie Nearvort and Hayley Dunbar. Dunbar fading a little, and Nearvort really pulling herself along with Aston Micken. But there's some impressive young ladies there in our only 16 and under category in the K1 500.
Yeah, they're great athletes, aren't they? Really strong, really impressive.
Yeah.
And being personally involved with them over a couple of years, not at the moment, but in the past, those girls from Foster, very, very impressive group of young athletes.
Yeah.
Who have certainly shown what they're worth here. The country girls have got it.
Yep. Okay, we are going to move to K2s now, and we have a race which is a final in the men's 16 and under K2 500. Hunter Valley are in lane 1, Taj Williams and Jasper Graham, coached by Adam Rowe. Canning River and Mackay Paddlers in lane 2, Finn Ireland and Bo Jacob. Swan in lane 3, Alexander Small and Alasdair Marsden, coached by Denny O'Brien. Currumbin Creek and Sunshine Coast in lane 4, Taj Purcell and Aisha Poland, coached by Charlene Kelly and Julian Norton-Smith. In lane 5, Bayswater and Currumbin Creek, Riley Scott and Orlando Fonseca, coached by Dave Smith, Chris Hurley and Ronan Anderson. In lane 6, Sunshine Coast and Bayswater Composite of Noah Kelland and Connor Riches, coached by Nathan Vartese and Charlene Kelly. In lane 7, from Avoca, Tor Manser and Jasper Hunter. In lane 8, Brody Frew from Avoca with Finley McLennan of Sydney Northern Beaches. And in lane 9, from Winnan Redlands and Currumbin Creek, Dane Rayward and Hayden Lano.
And we're off and racing in the K2, the 16 and under K2 over 500 metres. And if the last few finals that we've been privileged enough to watch is anything to go by, we are no doubt in for a cracker here. These junior age categories really delivering here this morning. We see the 2 combinations in the centre of the course getting out to an early lead. In fact, combination from Swan on the far side. Won a few single club combinations in this race. That's Alexander Small, Alistair Marsden. Look to be certainly right up in the contention for the lead. Maybe just trailing the red shell there of the Bayswater composite, Riley Scott, Orlando Fonseca, who are currently leading. Back in third is the crew in between them, the Currumbin Creek and Sunshine Coast composite, who are only just holding off the other Sunshine Coast composite, this time with Nola Kelland of Bayswater. So our top two starting to discern themselves from the rest of the race, and it is certainly the Bayswater composite there in Station 5, the black and red shell, who have designs on victory here in this race, and leading into the last couple of strokes. It will be Riley Scott, Orlando Fonseca, who will take the gold. Silver will go the way of Swan, Alexander Small, Alistair Marsden. Bronze by only half a length will be the Currumbin Creek Swan composite, Purcell and Poland. Avoca, Mansa and Hunter just missing out on the medals, followed by the Northern Beaches composite, Sunshine Coast composite, the Canning River composite, the Wynnum Redlands composite, and the Hunter Valley crew on the far side of the course.
Should be a rule against this, shouldn't there? Congratulations to Riley Scott and Orlando Fonseca, very impressive there. They're taking out the final of the men's 16 and under K2 500. Second place, as we said, Swan, Alexander Small and Alistair Marsden. And third place, bronze medal to Taj Purcell and Daisha Poland from Sunshine Coast and Currumbin Creek. We have a combined race next. We saw these guys paddle each other earlier on today. We're moving to the C1, racing over 500 metres. In lane 3, representing West Lakes, we have Ryan Ness, racing in the men's 16 and under C1 semi-final. And in lane 7, we have Max Ganzuk from West Lakes in the open C1 500.
So two separate races running as one here, with Ryan Ness, 16 and under sculler on the far side of the course, and then the opens paddler Max Ganzuk, also from West Lakes, on the near side of the course. And as may be predicted, Ganzuk getting out of the blocks well, and we're going to put on a show for just the times in this running of this event.
So I think we were mentioning earlier, Chris Max here, refugee from the Ukrainian war, came to Australia to live with his auntie, and a strong paddler who is really enjoying being part of the Australian paddling scene, a junior for Australia last year with his hopes firmly set on representing at the Olympics someday, and he's taking out the Open Men's C1 500.
And his club mate in the under 16, or the 16 and under division over on the far side of the course. Still not lifting off the gas, and making sure that he's really winding towards the line now. It's Ryan Ness, also of West Lakes.
Yeah, well done to both of those guys. Pretty hard when you've only got each other to race, and they are training mates as well, but beautiful conditions to lay down a good time in the C1. And we're going to stay with Canoe, and we're going to move to the C2 now and to the women's events. Again, a combined race. In this race, we have in lane 5, representing West Lakes, a C2 for women's 18 and under. Emily McMullen and Ellie Kernahan, who are coached by Reese Backus and Bernadette Wallace. And in lane 7, an open crew, also from West Lakes, Eva Bruce and Josie Bulmer, coached by Luke Hannaford.
we've got coming down here another set of 2 races, this time in the C2. We've got, again, 2 West Lakes crews in 2 separate age categories, with the 18 and under crew in Station 5 in the centre of the course, Emily McMullen, Ellie Kernahan, coached by Reece Backus and Bernadette Wallace, racing the 18 and under, and currently staying with their older club mates, the other West Lakes crew racing in the open C2, just to their right, Eva Bruce and Josephine Bulmer, coached by Luke Hannaford, who are currently leading the junior club mates, but not by a significant margin at this stage, just so 3/4 of a boat length. I think the open pairing there of Bruce and Bulmer have maybe just seen the danger of their junior club mates and lifted in the closing 100 metres to just break away. A little stretch of clear water over McMullen and Kernahan. So certainly Bruce and Bulmer across the line first, about a length and a half, then back to McMullen and Kernahan in second.
On the start line now, we have the... Actually, sorry, I should just recognise that we just saw the men's under 12 K4 race down, and we will be acknowledging them later with some medals, so we'll read the names out to you then. But coming on to the start now, we have the men's K1 500 18C final with Jack Whitford of Sunshine Coast in lane 1, Joel Newton of Manly Warringah in lane 2, Jacob Mako of Manly Warringah in lane 3, Connor Jacob of Canning River in lane 4, Riley Heilbron of Wynnum Redlands in lane 5, Finley Caruana of WA in lane 6, Ryder Veering of Currumbin Creek in lane 7, Anderson Flick of Currumbin Creek in lane 8, and Blake Monaghan of Bayswater in lane 9.
So looks like just missing a couple of crews off the start of this one. The two Manly Warringah paddlers, Newton and Mako, as well as the Wynnum Redlands paddler Riley Heilbron. But the scullers who are paddlers, my apologies, who are on the start line have all gotten away to a blistering start. It looks to be possibly the paddlers just in the centre of the course, or at least the four on the grandstand side of the course, who have gotten away best, but things pretty even in the early stages of this race, this C final of the 18 and under K1. As we approach 300 metres, just 200 metres left to race here in this C final. It is very tight for our top three, but I think the paddler from Western Australia there, Finlay Caruana, with the blue tips, Michelle just narrowly edging out Jack Whitford from the Sunshine Coast on the far side of the course. Blake Monaghan from Bayswater right up in the mix in those top three as well. So this is going to come right down to the finish line here in the C final, the 18 and under K1. Canning Rivers, Connor Jacob as well, making a good push to the line, coming home with a wet sail. I think it is the Canning River paddler, Connor Jacob, coached by Michael Booth, who was about half a length back just 200 metres ago and has straight out to almost a length clear of the West Australian Finlay Caruana, and then Blake Monaghan of Bayswater in third. Jack Whitford from the Sunshine Coast has dropped back from first contention back to fourth.
Chris, we've got some women's K4s coming onto the line. There's going to be an invitational race in just a moment, but whilst we have a little bit of a gap, a few notices to read out for around the grounds. The first is that somebody has lost a pair of green Oakley sunnies. If you do spot those green Oakley sunnies, if you would be so kind as to bring them to the finish tower and take them up to the first floor, the owner would be very grateful. So that's a pair of green Oakley sunnies gone missing. If you find them, please could you bring them to the first floor of the finish tower. Secondly, a car key has been found. I'm pretty sure that's somewhere here in the finish tower as well, and it's for a Hyundai car. So if you can't find your car key, please come and have a chat to us here in the finish tower. And thirdly, a reminder that at 1 o'clock we've got the question and answer session with our Olympians from Paris. It's going to take place in the meeting room above boat bays 4, 5 and 6, so that's at the far end of the boat park, and everyone is welcome. Really looking forward to seeing you. Bring your questions for our Olympians, come and hear them talk about their experiences and their pathway journey. Okay, we have a direct final, an invitational race in the women's K4 500. In lane 4, the Illawarra composite of Kaylee Harlan, Natalia Drobot, Alexandra Clark and Jasmine Locke, who, if I'm not mistaken, were all on the under-23 team last year, so that'll be a strong crew. In lane 5, from South Australia, Ella Beer, Claudia Bailey, Jasmine Locke, she's doing 2 races at the same time, and Caitlin Webber, so a mix of seniors and under 23s. And in lane 6, a composite of Phoebe Wills-Grace, Emerson Hardy, Abby Major and Samantha Lurie.
What would be certainly an impressive feat if Jasmine Locke could be racing in both boats at the same time, but I suspect there is a substitution in there, but all 3 crews away to a blistering start here in this women's K4 Invitational. It is the 2 crews on the far side of the course who look to be in the ascendancy. Crew of 2024 under 23s, the Illawarra composite in lane 4, just edging out the West Lakes composite in 5, and the Bayswater composite just 3/4 of a length back with 200 metres left to race. Ella Beer in the West Lakes composite, Paris Olympian. We will see her at the question and answer session, so if you are so inclined, you can ask about this race. The other three all under 23 athletes, but it is the all under 23 combination of Harley, Drebert, Clark and Locke in Station 4. Will take an all-the-way win in the Women's K4 International. West Lakes Composite crossing second, and the Bayswater Composite in 3rd place.
So Chris and I just discussing the crews that are lining up now for race number 129, which is an invitational race for a men's K4 racing over 500 metres. We've got some pretty exciting crews here. In lane 3, a composite of Aidan Hall, Flynn Whelan, Aidan Carberry and Max Humphries. In lane 4, a crew of Riley Fitzsimmons, Jean van der Westhuizen, Jackson Collins and Noah Hayard. In lane 5, a crew of Tom Green, Pierre van der Westhuizen, Luke Egger and Maguire Reid. In lane 6, a crew of Harrison Torrens, Bailey Clues, Alex Woodhouse and Jake Morris. And in lane 7, Mitchell Tamblin, Sam Mayers, Charles Heaton Armstrong and Sean Rice.
Yeah, so this crew in lane 4, 3/4 of the K4 from Paris, the silver medal winning K4. Let me change Pierre van der Westhuizen in or out for his brother Jean.
Yep, and Pierre jumping in with Tom Green, so Tom swapping partners and adding in a couple of under-23s, Luke Egger and Maguire Reid.
As we'd expect, the two crews in 4 and 5 both getting the best of the starts.
Oh my goodness, what was straight in that?
Fury off the starts.
Wow, so impressive K4s, aren't they? Especially men's K4s.
This lane 5, the Onkaparinga composite, probably just maybe want to out with a point to prove over almost the Olympic K4. Pierre van der Westhuizen, think, you know, if he can get the win here, he'd likely be taking a bit of credit for that one, I reckon. But it is the Queenslanders in lane 4 at the moment. 2 seats advantage, with 200 metres left to paddle. Over the Onkaparinga composite, and the England Swiss crew in 7, currently in 3rd. The New South Wales, the under-23 crew in 4th, and the South Australians on the far side of the course in 5th. It looks like coming into it will be the Queenslanders, 3/4 of the silver medal Paris winning K4 by just a seat in the end over the Onkaparinga composite in 5. And then the Ringa composite on the near side in 3rd over the New South Wales composite in line 6 in 4th, and the South Australians over in line 3 in 5th place. That is it for this morning's racing. So as a reminder, we do have a Q&A in about half an hour's time, just 25 minutes time, with some of the athletes who have just seen racing. But we will do a few medal presentations in the meantime.